racing through town following this group of volunteer paramedics on that motorbike.
Turning back to that breaking news out of Chicago, Customs and Border Protection says agents were shot at while conducting an immigration enforcement operation earlier today.
At 6:11 a.m., beneath blinding white lights inside a sealed federal briefing room in downtown Phoenix, a senior official leaned into the microphone and spoke only one sentence. What we uncovered was not corruption, it was control. No questions were allowed. Outside that room, the city was already changing forever. 3.2 tons of narcotics had been seized overnight. 890 arrests were confirmed. 17 coordinated strike zones were executed. Across Arizona, and for the first time in U.S. history, a sitting city mayor stood, accused of architecting a cartel-controlled metropolis from the inside out. This was not a scandal, this was a hostile takeover. At 4:32 a.m., Phoenix was still wrapped. In sleep, streetlights hummed over empty intersections. The desert air was cool, unmoving, deceptive. From the sky, the city looked peaceful from the ground. It was surrounded. Unmarked SUVs glided through industrial districts without headlights. Tactical teams moved on foot through alleyways that smelled of oil and dust. Helicopters hovered miles away, rotors dampened, invisible against the pre-dawn sky. No sirens, no warnings, no mistakes. This was not a raid meant to send a message. It was an operation designed to erase a network. The first breach occurred in Maryvale, a warehouse registered as a produce distribution center. On paper, it shipped citrus and vegetables across state lines. In reality, it was a fortified cartel logistics hub. The door came down in one strike. Flashbangs detonated. White light swallowed the interior. Agents surged forward through chemical haze as suspects scrambled to ward back exits, carrying duffel bags so heavy they tore at their shoulders. Inside, pallets stamped agricultural equipment were split open. Beneath the shrink wrap were thousands of fentanyl bricks, stacked with mechanical precision, enough to wipe out entire neighborhoods, enough to poison cities that would never know where it came from. Across Phoenix, the clock struck 4:35 a.m. In Paradise Valley, a gated mansion overlooking the desert foothills went dark. Power cut. Security systems neutralized. Agents breached. Through reinforced glass and poured into a home designed to feel untouchable, marble floors, art imported from Europe. A private elevator hidden behind a mirrored wall. Below ground level, a vault door opened to reveal an arsenal, assault rifles, night vision optics, encrypted phones, and cash stacked waist high, wrapped in plastic and dusted with desert sand. This wasn't drug money being hidden, it was drug money being stored for future. Used at 4:38 a.m., teams hit South Phoenix, a tire shop. Rusting signage, oil-stained concrete behind a false wall, agents discovered a steel ladder descending into darkness. The tunnel beneath was not crude. It was reinforced concrete, climate-controlled, wide enough to move cargo carts through it. Speed. Electrical lines ran the length of it. Surveillance cameras tracked every movement. This wasn't a smuggling tunnel, it was infrastructure. Elsewhere, cartel and casinos posing as private poker lounges erupted into chaos. Tables overturned, cash flew. Suspects fled through emergency exits, only to be met by federal agents waiting silently in the darkness. One man ran clutching a backpack, so heavy it slowed him to a stagger. He made it 20 feet by sunrise. Federal staging areas across the city were lined with evidence tarps stretching for blocks. Fentanyl, methamphetamine, counterfeit. Pills stamped to resemble real pharmaceuticals, 3.2 tons in total. But the drugs weren't the reason, Senior. Agents went silent inside a warehouse. Near Sky Harbor Airport, agents uncovered something far more dangerous. A sealed room, no windows, no markings, no connection to local networks. Inside were military-grade servers cooled by industrial systems. Shielded against surveillance, each drive engraved with dates, and a single recurring symbol burned into the metal. A black sun. At 7:09 a.m., those drives were loaded onto armored transports and escorted directly to a federal cyber forensics facility. No press, no leaks, no delays. Inside a windowless lab, analysts began peeling back layers of encryption designed not to hide crime, but to conceal command authority. When the final layer broke, the room went quiet. A digital network map flooded the main screen. Operation, codename, Sandcrown. What appeared was not a criminal organization. It was an administrative system. Shell companies branched into logistics firms, ghost corporations linked to city development projects, nonprofits funneling donations into offshore accounts, restaurant chains laundering millions daily, fake charities embedded in disaster relief programs. Money moved invisibly across borders: Arizona to Panama, Panama to Eastern Europe, then back into the U.S. through defense contractors, construction firms, and municipal infrastructure funds. Every transaction looked legal. Every route was protected. At the center of the network sat a node that stunned the room. The mayor of Phoenix, not a recipient, not a participant, a controller. Encrypted authorization keys traced directly to zoning approvals, tunnel construction permits, police patrol schedules, border inspection windows, traffic enforcement gaps, timed to the minute. The city had not been infiltrated, it had been redesigned. One analyst finally spoke. This is not corruption. This is command-level collusion. The mayor had transformed Phoenix into a secure inland hub buffered from border volatility. Shielded by paperwork, defended by policy. Cartel convoys moved through the city under the illusion of legitimacy. Inspections waived. Permits approved. Patrols redirected. Nothing happened by accident. By 5:02 a.m. the following morning, a federal command center lit up before dawn. A digital map dominated the wall. Red markers bloomed across Arizona deserts, border corridors, industrial zones, affluent suburbs. Mission authorization was issued. More than 1,200 federal agents mobilized. 74 SWAT teams. Black Hawk helicopters lifting off under cover of darkness. Armored vehicles rolling toward remote desert sites in the western desert near Yuma. Agents descended on a solar-powered compound listed as a green energy facility. Beneath it, they found an industrial pill press operation running non-stop, guarded. By armed contractors along the border, tunnel systems were collapsed in controlled detonations, sealing off routes that had moved narcotics and humans alike for years. Smuggling convoys were intercepted, mid-transit boxed in by armored units on highways that suddenly became traps. In Scottsdale, agents quietly entered a mansion owned through layered shell companies. Inside was a private office lined with framed photographs. Politicians, business leaders, foreign delegates. Smiling beside men who never smiled back by midday, cartel leadership across the state was in custody. Along with them came arrests no one expected. City planners, police supervisors, port inspectors, federal contractors, people with badges, people with titles. The underworld took more damage in 6 hours than it had in 6 years. But the fallout had only begun. Seized servers revealed years of internal communications between cartel operatives and law enforcement commanders. Payment schedules disguised as consulting fees. Cryptocurrency wallets assigned to badge numbers. Raid plans leaked hours in advance. Patrol routes adjusted to open corridors. Way stations mysteriously closed. Judges quietly rotating case assignments. Honest officers sat in interview rooms, staring at screens, recognizing names they trained with, trusted with their lives. One agent removed his badge, placed it on the table, and stared at it like it no longer belonged to him. That evening, senior commanders were arrested, men who once spoke about integrity at academy graduations. The cartel had not replaced law enforcement, it had duplicated it, a parallel enforcement system, with uniforms, with radios, with authority. Rebuilding would take years. As investigators zoomed out further, the scope widened beyond Arizona. Routes extended into Texas freight corridors, California ports, Midwestern rail hubs, agricultural shipments used as cover. Maintenance windows exploited. Shipping manifests altered before inspections. The final recovered files revealed the endgame. A permanent inland headquarters, a shadow administrative structure embedded within legitimate governance. Not chaos. Control. One line appeared repeatedly across internal communications. Stability beats violence. The realization settled over investigators like a weight. The system hadn't been infiltrated, it had been redesigned. Tonight, Phoenix is quieter, but silence doesn't mean safety. it means reckoning. Power doesn't always arrive with guns. Sometimes it arrives with signatures, with silence, with ambition. And the cost isn't measured in press conferences, it's measured in lives lost to fentanyl, families erased, communities hollowed out from the inside. This was not just a takedown, it was a warning. Because when governance and crime become indistinguishable, the damage doesn't announce itself, it spreads.